Sometimes life just sucks, and sometimes it freaking rocks. We will discuss all the things from family and real estate to travel and just life in general. So take a seat, or don't, you do you, and welcome to the Lambadass Podcast.
Shut up. Are you serious? Is he gonna? I was hitting him up today. Did you know? Oh my gosh! That is such a good birthday present. Have a seat in my office.
So this was the plan.
Okay, tell me.
Well, David never wanted to come on the podcast ever.
He probably still doesn't want to be here today.
So I said, Lauren's birthday's coming up, and what an amazing birthday present would be to surprise her and have you on the podcast. And he said, you sent me some silly thing with this guy thinking, And I said, what if I sent you a list of questions that I'll ask you?
Yes.
So you feel prepared.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I could cry. I'm so happy you're here. That's so nice.
So he got the questions and he agreed.
That's so nice. I am very touched. Thank you. That's very kind.
You here? I actually have new questions.
I'm really getting emotional. I'm getting emotional over this. This is so crazy. Thank you. This means a lot to me that you're here. And I even told you to be a doer today at the house. That was so mean. I'm so happy you're here.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. And you're so handsome. Now all my YouTube people, all 6 of them, get to see what you look like.
I thought this was just that's why I got all dolled up for you.
You look exactly how you should look. You look very handsome.
Very nice.
You should have worn them cowboy boots.
Okay, so we just surprised Lauren with an early birthday present, and that is to have her lovely husband, Sweetie Pie, on the podcast, who she's been trying to drag on to here for a year, maybe a little over a year.
Okay, do you want to know the funniest thing ever? I was just telling Donna this story. I was totally a little emotional about this because I have been trying to get him on here, and it would really mean a lot to me that he was here. And so I was telling Donna, I'm like, even this morning I was like, you really should come on my podcast. He's like, what would we talk about? And I'm like, what? Normally he's like, no, I'm done. I have work. I have this. I have that. I'm like, oh my gosh, please. And so today when he was like, what we talk about? I'm like, oh, well, we could talk about this. It was really cool. And I have to tell you, last night, this is so funny. Last night, I don't know what we were doing on your phone, but it said maybe Nicole, and I was like, and I go, and so it was there, and I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't. And so I looked at him and I was like, who's Nicole? And he's like, what? And I said, your phone a second ago said maybe Nicole.
Oh, shit.
Why in the hell are you deleting text messages, my dear? And so he was like, you're so freaking nosy. Mind your own business. It was Nicole, Nicole Segreto. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I didn't even think anything of it. I thought, oh, my birthday's coming up. Maybe he's telling her where we could go for lunch or something. I don't know. This was a great surprise. Thank you for being so thoughtful, and thank you for coming.
Of course. So yeah, it's funny too. This morning he's like, can you send me the questions again? Because I had to delete our text thread.
That is why.
The day that we were in the office, he said to you, he got on the phone because that day is when I asked him. And
wait, when?
We were in the office a week or 2 ago, and
Which
you
office?
guys were
Sorry.
in Corona, and you guys were chatting, and he said something to you oh, what shenanigans are you guys playing? And I was like, oh my God. So I texted him shh. It's a surprise. She has no idea. Don't blow the cover. And he was no shenanigans. What are you talking about?
I always feel like something's up. I had no idea. So this was very good. I'm so excited. Okay.
So I have a list of questions.
Okay, really quick. Let's give him the download. So you have to speak right into the mic, because otherwise it sounds really wonky. So when you're answering, you have to talk directly into it.
Okay.
Okay.
You're
the best.
So, since this is for your birthday, this is all about you.
Okay.
And the first question that I wanted to ask David is, what made you fall in love with Lauren?
I'm so excited you're going to answer this. Okay, sorry, go ahead. Billy, does this cord come out a little bit more?
Yes.
Or no, here, you know what? I'm going to just move it like this.
Okay.
That'll help. Okay, sorry. You have to talk into the mic. Speak loud for all to hear.
So one more time the question.
The question is, what made you fall in love with Lauren?
It was her motherly instinct and her attention to detail. And it was all of we'd go on a date and then she would send me a card thanking me.
Wow.
It was
I did.
something that had never happened before.
To be fair, though, he made me feel so special. Like, I was young. I had just graduated high school. So for someone to get all dressed up and take me out like on a first date, that was a big deal. And so I was very appreciative of that. But you have to tell the story of us at Parker. That's
Oh, no.
why? No, how I made mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nothing, okay, wait. By the way,
There are a few stories that happened in
there are a few stories that happened to Parker. He's thinking about the story when we went to Roadrunners. I'm not, I think. Is that the one you're thinking about? Yeah. Okay, no, that's not what I'm
We're
talking
still
about.
on the topic of falling in love.
Yes.
So was there something
That
in
definitely-
Parker that happened that made those feelings come out? Okay.
Me and
gonna
my
die.
buddy were a bit inebriated and hungry, and we couldn't drive anywhere. So she said that she would go in the kitchen and find something to make for us. And somebody opened the mac and cheese box and stole the cheese. So there was no cheese to make mac and cheese. And then she
It was
somehow...
funny. He's like, how are you going to make it? And I was like, don't worry, I'll figure this out. I don't even remember what I did. I made you guys that in like fish sticks or something. Like that was all, we were at our buddy's mom's house and she wasn't there yet. So she hadn't gone shopping. But I had this house full of guys. They're all drinking. And I'm like, we have to feed them. And he tells me all the time, I knew that I was in love with you, like when you made us food. So
That is true.
So that goes back to her motherly instinct and
Yes.
nurturing and caring. I'm so impressed with the card. Like you do that in business, and you're consistent in your personal life as well. That's incredible.
thank you. I do. I love people. And so I always want them to feel loved. And he made me feel so loved and so special that I was just like, yes, I wanted him to know. So I did. I did do that for him. Yes. That was on our first date, but I'm still pretty good with the cards though, I think.
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite thing about Lauren?
You don't have to be appropriate. You could totally be inappropriate if you want to.
Oh, we'll save that for another day.
Podcast number 2.
I know. I feel it. I feel it.
Her patience.
Not that I don't think you're patient, but I just wasn't expecting that.
Yes. She's very...
In my home life, I am very patient when it comes to things, especially with the kids. So he always tells me that. So
Got it.
that's funny that you said that.
Her patience and all the amazing inappropriate things I get to say to her.
He wrote in a card to me one time. I'm sorry I keep jumping in. He wrote in a card to me one time. He goes, you are the best. Thank you so much for letting me say really inappropriate shit to you. Like he seriously put this in a card. And then one time I was annoyed with him and he tells our friend, I say really inappropriate shit to her. So if she's frustrated, like I cross the line. So I just thought that was very funny. But you can say inappropriate stuff to me. You wouldn't be you if you didn't say it.
Well, that leads me into our next question.
Oh, perfect.
What is your favorite sex position? I'm kidding. I'm
That
totally
was not on
kidding.
the list.
I was like, I know mine.
I'm kidding. I'm just screwing with you. Okay, next question for real this time. Okay, what's your favorite memory of Lauren? Or are you guys together?
That's a good one.
Probably our camping trip to Big Sur.
Out of all the memories.
Was this just you two, a family,
No,
a
it was
group of
family.
friends?
It was a family first camping trip to Big Sur.
Okay.
And we had to rent a U-Haul to bring all the things that she wanted for the camping trip.
Oh my gosh.
First of all, this was not okay. First of all, this was like a tent camping trip. This was not like an RV. This was not a pop-up tent trailer. This was like, we're going to put the sticks together and make a tent. So let's start there. Also, we have 4 children. They have a lot of things. Carson, how old was Carson at the time?
Maybe 2, because he was in his pack and play.
Yeah, talking to this. Yeah, so maybe 2. And I don't even think he was 2. He was still in diapers.
Yeah.
So he had to have been, and he was potty trained early. So he had to have been not even 2 years old yet. So he had the pack and play. And then all the kids wanted to ride bikes. And so we needed bikes. And then we needed firewood. We needed the U-Haul.
Yes. So we had to drive all the way to Big Sur. And then on the way up, we stopped probably 50 times to take pictures.
We
I
did.
told her that I needed to get there to set up the tent.
This was
So I didn't
probably
have
on
to
like
do it in the
picture
dark.
40. He's like, hey, I need to get up there. You were very kind about it.
Yes, I always am.
And it sounds like you both are very patient with each other.
Very much so.
Yeah.
With each other, I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's a great memory.
Girl, no, it gets worse.
Oh.
There's more to this story.
I
So go
would love
ahead.
to hear it.
So go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get up there and it's dark because we still stopped at least 10 more times for photos and it starts raining, drizzling, granted. So him and Jacob are putting this tent together and stuff like that. And I'm trying to keep the kids all preoccupied and we start this fire and all the things. And I'll try to make this story as short as possible, but it's kind of a long one. So I'm getting all the camping stuff together or whatnot, tent set up. We're all sitting around it now, and it's somewhat late. And at this campground, you had, 10 p.m. was like quiet time.
She wanted me to leave the cover off to be romantic.
I wanted him to leave the top of the tent off so that we could be romantic, for sure.
Sweet.
Yes,
No.
until it wasn't. Because
Because when it rains, it comes in the tent.
yeah, it was
And we
bad.
had 2 queen-size beds
Yeah, we had 2
inside
queen size
the tent
mattresses,
and
like
a pack and play in
and a
between.
pack and play in between. Okay, so let me back up. So now we're outside, tent set up, everything's like ready to go. And when we travel, some of like on long trips when our kids were little, they would get tummy aches or they'd have like diarrhea or whatever like that. So let me just preface that. So we're sitting down and we're making s'mores and I'm passing them to like all the kids, right? And I'm like, excuse me, David, here, passing them out and stuff like that. So we get in bed and we're laying there and he goes, I have sticky shit between my legs. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I said, you're so gross. Like, our kids are in this tent. Like, no.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not what I'm saying. Like, I literally have sticky shit. And he puts his finger on the sticky shit, smells it, and then proceeds to lick it. And he goes, it's just marshmallow. I'm like, you're so gross.
Midnight snack.
Yes. So then Jacob goes, hey, Lauren, it really smells over here. And I said, it does. And he goes, yeah. Well, I got up and one of the boys had literally shit. What we did was we took 2 mattresses or 2 sleeping bags.
3 sleeping. Well,
3 or 2?
let's go with 2.
Okay, 2 sleeping bags and like zipped them together. And we put 3 of the boys, because they were little then, we put 3 of the boys on one bed. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to get the kids out. I had to take the blankets off. Mind you, it's cold. We're up in Big Sur. It's raining outside. And I'm not talking raining. I'm talking pouring down rain.
Oh my
There are
God.
parts of the story, by the way, that I left out. I didn't talk about the raccoons.
No, you
We
didn't.
won't talk about the raccoons. It's okay. So anyways,
But it's a very important part.
Oh, that's right. It is. Okay. So prior to everybody going to bed, I had put the littles to bed and David and Jacob stayed out and they were by the fire and stuff. And all of a sudden, mind you, quiet times at like 10 p.m. All of a sudden I hear yelling and Jacob is laughing and David is screaming, get back, get back. Well, apparently what had happened, they saw these like raccoon eyes in the bushes across from them. Right. And they're like they were shining in like the light from the campfire.
The bushes surrounded the campfire.
Yeah.
Did you know it was raccoons or did you think it was some other kind of animal?
We had no idea. Yeah.
Oh my
not
God,
not
I
a
would've
clue.
been
When did
freaking
you
out.
know?
When I turned around and saw the raccoon trying to flick, or no, it was eating the grapes out of the ice chest. And I thought it was cute, and then it grabbed my beer and tried to open the beer, and then it was not
Shut
cute anymore.
up. Really?
He was taking his long fingernail, David
Yeah.
said, and he was poking it. So I didn't know anything. I was like almost
trying
out.
to flick the cap off.
He was trying to flick the cap off the bottle of his beer.
Wow, what a
So it was
smart
done.
raccoon.
But that's when it became not cute anymore. So him and Jacob were like throwing rocks at it and trying to get it to go away. They weren't trying to hurt it. They were just trying to get it to go away. And so David puts the raccoons go away and they're yelling, they're laughing, right? And I'm like, shut up, you guys. It's after 10 p.m. Like it's quiet time, this and that, whatever. So David puts everything in the U-Haul and shuts the U-Haul and then gets in the tent and then proceeds. Okay, so then fast forward now. So this child has shit in the bed. So I pulled everything off and I like threw everything outside because I'm like, this tent is not going to smell like this. And we had extra blankets and stuff. So we're laying there and everything's good. And then all of a sudden Connor throws up
oh my God.
and I'm like, oh my
Is
gosh.
this the same kid that just shit?
Well, I wasn't going to call out who just shit, but I will just say it was a different child.
Oh, got it.
Okay. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, he was like literally 4 years old, maybe 5. So anyways, so Connor's throwing up and I'm like, oh shit. So I get up and I pick him up. Thank God he didn't get any in the bed. And I walk over to the door, and I shove his head out the door, and I zipped it back down like on his neck. So his body's in the tent and his head's outside, and David's like, babe, what are you doing? I'm all, what did you expect me to do? I'm not even sure.
I thought you were going to go outside or take him to the bathroom.
Not
But
with
she
the
didn't want
raccoon.
to go outside because the raccoons were out there.
That makes sense.
So she stuck her child's head out of the tent and zipped it. Originally, she
That
had
was
him,
that motherly
originally she
instinct
had him.
that you fell
That
in
he
love
fell
with.
for, yeah.
Originally, she had him puke in the tent.
Because I
And
didn't want the
said, "Babe,
raccoon.
we
I
have to
get
sleep
it,
in here.
yeah.
That's nasty. You got to
Yeah.
take him outside." So then she unzipped the tent, put his head out, and then zipped it back down.
That's
So the raccoons wouldn't get in.
And Lauren is a problem solver, so this makes sense.
Yes,
yeah, that sounds
100%.
like a good.
I need it to be known that we had Clorox wipes. So yes, I was going to let him throw up in the tent, like right at the door,
Yeah.
and I was going to clean it up with Clorox wipes and then throw it all
But
outside.
she also forgot that Connor puked on Carson in the pack and play.
Well, not yet. I hadn't gotten there yet. So
Oh my!
I get back
gosh.
in bed and I'm like, Connor, come lay with mommy and daddy so that you're comfortable or whatever. And so I said, you feel like you're going to throw up again? He goes, no. And I said, okay. And all of a sudden he sits up and he looks over bleh, and pukes in the pack and play. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And mind you, it's probably 1:00 in the morning now.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm like, oh my gosh, now the baby's up. So I get the baby and I give him to David. I'm cleaning everything up and doing the best that I can. We have like one lantern hanging in the center. The other two are trying to sleep. Like, it's just a disaster.
And it smells like poop.
It smells like poop.
And
It
puke.
smells like puke.
my
It was
gosh.
terrible. Like, and I tried to clean it the best that I could, but it was dark and I couldn't see everything. So we're laying down and David's like, this is terrible. Do you want to pack up and just leave? Mind you, Carson's going, daddy ears, daddy eyes, daddy nose. Like he's saying all the things on David's face, right? And I'm like, no, like let's just keep it out. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, just relax. Like this has to get better. Okay. So we're laying there and daddy eyes, daddy nose. And David's like, okay, I'm done. He gets up, he picks up Carson. I don't know what went through your mind and why you felt that you should step on a blow up mattress.
You told me to put Carson to bed.
Bless your heart. So he gets up and instead of getting off the mattress and walking around, he tries to climb over me and Connor, who are still in the bed. He falls into the pack and play. He like tuck and rolled so that Carson obviously didn't get hurt. And Carson's going, whoa, daddy, whoa. And the whole pack and play like collapsed on itself. And I'm like,
It tacoed around me.
Oh my gosh.
so the next morning we get up and he's like, I'm going to take the kids. You sit by the fire, read your book. Can I make you anything? And I'm like, no, I'm just going to do the laundry. Thank God there was a place to do laundry there. So I did all the laundry and stuff. I put it all back together. By the time they got back, I had it all cleaned up and put together. And he's like, thank you for doing that. He's like, I'm so worried that you will never go camping again. We have never been camping again.
So that was why it was the most memorable.
That was the most memorable. You're right. He's right. That was very memorable. Sorry, that was such a long answer, but you had to get the whole
No,
thing.
Yes, yes.
It was a shit show.
Well, okay. So my next question then is, because I wanted to ask what your favorite trip together was, but is that it?
No, that's not the favorite trip.
Okay.
No.
Let me answer for him.
That better not be.
Let's
the
bring him
favorite
on
trip.
here and then let me answer.
No, it was our trip to Europe and then.
Which
and then
one? Because you
Paris.
guys have been like a dozen
was-
times.
Was it our. No.
Our first trip to Europe?
I think
Was
our
it just the
second
two
one.
of you or your whole
It
family?
was just the two of us because we
Okay.
went. Was it when we went down the Danube and then went back to
The
Paris?
Rhine. The Rhine was our first one.
And then we went to Paris.
Yes.
So the first one.
Was
Yeah.
that your first time to Paris for both of
Together.
you?
No.
Okay.
He had been before. He went backpacking after high school.
Oh, wow.
With Brian.
Okay.
And so he had been there before. And it was really neat, though, because I'm like, okay, you've been here before. Like, how is it now? And he's like, it is such a different experience going with you. He's like, I knew you were going to love it so much. And I did. Like, I instantly fell in love with
so
Paris.
that was your first trip to Paris.
My first
and
trip.
you got to introduce her to it.
Yes.
And now that's your favorite
And I
city,
told her
right?
it was going to be her favorite city in the world.
You
Yeah.
knew that?
He did.
Wow.
And it was really neat, too, because the way that he, like, planned everything and, like, he very much takes care of a lot of the things. Like, it's funny because when I travel alone, I'm like, oh, I have to get my suitcase down. And, oh, I need to know where my passport is. Oh, I need to do this and that. Like, when he's there, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Like, he's the worry person. We plan together for the most part, and I make sure everything's all organized and stuff, but he's the one that like gets us to our destinations and from like 90% of the time.
Very nice.
That was an amazing trip though too.
Yes.
It was our first river cruise.
Very cool.
That was
and
so
you're
fun.
doing another one this fall, right?
The winter.
A winter.
Yes, I can't wait. We're starting in Iceland if it doesn't erupt.
That's right.
And then
we're
we're
canceled last year.
Yep. So
And Iceland is a bucket list for both of you?
Yeah.
well, I think the Northern Lights are the bucket list, right?
Yes.
There's what's the song that you like?
It's that country song.
There's a song where he talks about going to like all these places, and it's funny. It lists literally everything except it lists everything, and we've done all of them except the Northern Lights. So there was a time when he was like, "We have to check all these things off. I'll have to find it, Billy. You'll have to find it and let me know what it is because I know you'll." What is it? Okay, it talks about like seeing the Northern Lights, and it talks about
Going to Paris.
going to the
riding up
Eiffel
Paris.
Tower. What else? Do you remember?
And it's country.
Yes.
It is country, yeah. Okay, he'll find it, I'm sure. You'll have to
We'll
let us
do
know what
his
it is.
magic.
Yes, for sure. But it's fun.
Okay. What is... Oh, okay. What...
Thomas Rhett, Die a Happy Man.
Yes.
That's it. Thomas Rhett, Die a Happy Man.
I like that title.
We saw him in concert. Did he sing that song? No, because you wanted him to, right? We saw him at Boots in the Park.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Fair enough. We're going to end that right there.
Is that another story? Okay. What makes Lauren a great mom to your boys?
That's a nice question.
It is. She always makes makes sure that the boys have everything they need all the time. She's extremely loving and compassionate, and she handles all the business.
You're so nice. It makes me emotional when you say things like that. You take care of a lot of things too, though.
But she
We
handles,
definitely have enough fruit this weekend. He cut up
Yes.
all the fruit for this weekend. That was really nice. Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
I know. Look at him. He's like, I can't. I'm getting laid after this.
So you're canceling the rest of your day.
No, I'm so hungry. I have to eat something for sure.
And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. That was very nice.
Okay. What do you look most forward to in the future?
Growing old with her, traveling.
Are you excited for empty nesting days?
Yes and no, because I think it'll be weird not having the boys, but it'll be amazing, just the two of us.
We talk about this a lot. So that's a really good question. We talk about it a lot. We always say, like, we're looking forward to, I think both of us are on the same page when it comes to our boys. Like, we want them to find what we have. And so we want to encourage that and nurture that any way we can. But I also feel that, you know, we want ourselves back though too. And you know, if you think, we've always had kids, right? Like from the very beginning of our relationship, Jacob's always been there. And that's amazing. But now that he's not home, it's like, oh, you know, when we go out to dinners and stuff, it makes things that much more special. But I think that we've been really good about creating such a great dynamic between the two of us that when the kids create their own dynamics, it's not going to be as much of a sad thing as it is a weird thing, like he says, because our house is loud. Like all the time it's loud. When we were gone on the cruise for spring break, Jared was like, it's so weird not having you guys here. And Jared's not one to be in the mix of things. Like he'll come down and he'll do his thing and then he goes back up. He likes this quiet time. So it's very interesting. So I'm glad that you're looking forward to that. We talk about traveling. We talk about spending time in Europe, like living in Europe. So
I'll have to put that on my calendar.
yes, girl. Because we did. It was funny. We've actually looked at Airbnbs and how much it would be to stay there for 3 months out of the year. So we have looked into things like that so that we can financially prepare now so that when the time does come, because Carson will be graduated in 3 years. So,
Wow.
I mean, we're still young, so we still
Yes.
have work, but
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that too.
it's right around the corner.
Yes.
So which one of your boys is most like Lauren?
That's a good question. I think I know who I'd pick.
Carson?
I would have picked Carson.
Why?
he's just got all his stuff together.
He does.
He comes home, does his homework, keeps his grades up. He's very
Disciplined,
disciplined.
goal-oriented.
He's so funny. He's
And
fun to talk to.
He's definitely like the lively, like wants to entertain constantly and have 50 people over at the house. And
Yeah, he does. All the time. Can so-and-so spend the night? Can so-and-so do this?
Yeah.
David tells me the other night, we had 2 kids spending the night, and he's like, aren't they getting to the point where they're too old for sleepovers? I'm like, I think they just want to be around each other. It's not even necessarily about the sleeping over. They just want to hang out constantly. But that's true. Connor can be the life of the party, though, for sure. He's a lot like you when it comes to certain things.
yes, Connor and Carson both are very much the life of the party.
For sure.
But Carson's definitely the entertainer.
Yeah.
Like
he
for
likes
his
to entertain,
birthday.
have people over.
Well, for his birthday, right?
Uh-huh.
We're like, how many people are coming over? And he's like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. And what? There was like 45 kids or something showed up.
Yeah. In the backyard, like all in the spa. And I'm
It
like,
does remind me of Lauren. Your perception of her, because every time we do an event, she'll like be busy. She gets on her phone, and then you say to me, "Wait, when is this? What time is it at? How many people are coming?" And then I tell you, you're like, "Wait, what?"
that's funny. And it's funny too, because one of our mutual friends says that Connor reminds her the most of me. So it's very interesting. But I do think like,
Looks wise.
yeah, Connor definitely looks the most like me, for sure, I think. I posted a picture of Carson and I yesterday, though, and my cousin goes, oh my gosh, he looks like you so much here. And normally I think he looks like my dad.
I
But
could see that.
yeah, I think that too. And I think Jacob is a lot like you. You didn't ask, but I'll tell you. I think Jacob's a lot like you. Just very like, this is how I think about things and stuff, and this is how I feel, and you're very open to listening and stuff like that. But this is how I feel. This is it. And everything with Jacob, almost everything is like black and white. There's very little gray. David can be the same way. So, but they're also very manly. They're also very masculine, and all the things. So, and Jacob's a great human too. All of our kids are great people. They really are. I envy Jared's calmness to things. Jared doesn't make a big deal about anything. Anything at all. He very rarely gets worked up about much, stuff like that. Connor's the life of the party for sure, but all our kids are great in different ways. But yeah, I would have said Carson too.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being on here. Is there anything else you'd like to say or share?
Was it terrible? Was it awful?
It's different for sure.
I know. And I can tell that you're not fully comfortable. So maybe next time you will be more comfortable. Because people are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, that is not even how Sweetie Pie normally is. Because you are so outgoing.
Yeah, it's a little different when you put it out there for the world.
Well, I'm so grateful that you were here. It meant the world to me. Thank you for coming.
Anytime, babe.
I love you the mostest. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much for putting this together. That really meant a lot to me. And thank you, Billy, because I know that you knew. That was very cool of you guys. I was very touched. So thank you.
Welcome. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Oh, that was good.